What is up, my fellow Exandrians? Let's skip all the small talk and get right into episode 46, which was much better than episode 45. Have you ever heard the saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? That's how I felt about episode 45. But I do have something positive to say now, is that it provided the perfect context to make episode 46 so much better. Episode 45 was slow and I couldn't understand a word that Matt was saying, so I'd give it like a 4 out of 10. It'd be fine if it were 1 or 2 NPCs, but I had to keep turning up the volume and ended up just reading the show notes later. But this week was much, much better, and it came with some awesome news. Well, first, like I showed in my short, they aren't using D&D Beyond as a sponsor right now, and that's actually not that unique. It was pointed out to me that there have been other weeks where they didn't use D&D Beyond as a sponsor and didn't say anything about it, but this time felt a little bit different. I have a feeling that they're probably going to test the waters and see how the news about the OGL works out, which, by the way, if you haven't gotten the chance, head on over to my second channel and I'll link my newest short right here. I'm actually really proud of this short and it'll only take you a minute to watch. Please check it out. Moving on from the announcements, there was a lot to say that's positive about this episode and a couple things that, man, I really didn't like. But that's what the critical review is for. So let's get into it. First and foremost, as a DM, I'd like to shout out to Matt for this moment right here.
Oh, you rolled a natural 20. I rolled a natural 20.
Crit successes on ability checks technically, like, not, it's not like an automatic success, but it often gives you a little boost on it. But the difference between a 29 and a 22 is still pretty extensive. Yeah.
Say it loud, brother. Say it loud. You know, I don't really have a problem with anyone homebrewing their rules to kind of meet the common understanding that a natural 20 is an auto success. But I do like that he's at least normalizing to people that, hey, that's not actually how the rule works. And that way people don't get as much blowback. If they see a DM like Matt Mercer saying, hey, give me your modifiers, then it doesn't make us DMs feel that weird by asking the same. If the DC is something like 26, you're going to get a solid 7 out of 10 for that. Appreciate you, brother. My next favorite moment of the entire show is this one, where Sam Riegel basically brings this little box of biscuits and basically like Ted Lasso's the entire cast live. If you haven't seen Ted Lasso, I highly recommend it. He is, much like somebody else we know, just a dose of positivity and feel-good energy in a world that definitely needs it. Now, one of the last things that I want to talk about is something that I've spoken about in previous episodes, and I'm hoping that this is the last time that I need to talk about it, as it seems like some of the other people in the party are starting to set it to rest. And again, I'm sure some of you are annoyed at hearing me say it again. I'm annoyed at having to hear it again, and I think that maybe they'll talk about it one more time, and I promise, the next time they bring it up, I won't say anything. So I'm going to rip them a new one, and before you do the same to me, hear me out, because I do have an order to my thoughts. I get that party members have their own personal opinions on things, and I also get that, like, characters in the world would have different views on these kinds of things. But this party in particular, at this point, has no reason to want to destroy the gods. It makes no freaking sense. Like, none at all. They're seriously sitting right next to Laudna, who they brought back by the will and power given to Pike by a deity. One that they should be grateful to. FCG's powers, which have saved them as well, also are coming from a deity. Well, as far as we know, or as far as I theorize. Not only that, but...
I don't really need to debate it. I lost my father and my husband to these people. I'm not on board. I don't think they have any good points.
That right there. 9 out of 10, Liam. Like, put a stake in it. It's done, it's dead, it's in the ground. How insensitive to think that you could sympathize with a group of people who literally killed the family members and most loved ones of your party member. And lastly, as I step off of my high horse, here's the logical train of thought that I have going into this. What happens when you destroy the gods? One of the reasons that they talk about wanting to destroy the gods is that they don't think that anyone who wields power given to them through divine means should have it. But what happens when all the gods are dead? Patrons become the new gods. Extraplanar beings, genies, anyone who just gives you power in exchange for a good or service, all the warlocks then are on the list. All the warlock patrons are on the list. Predothos does not end at the gods. These are the bad guys. So for this, I would give it a 1 out of 10, but I'll give it another 3 points for each person who is actually making any sense during this argument. That's Orem, Chetney, and FCG. Beyond that, the episode was pretty chill, and the party begins a wilderness adventure through the Feywild. So cool, a lot of fun, and they have a bit of combat, which ends with this like triune 3 attack in 1 thing by the Witch's Brew, maybe the Witch's Trio? No, the Chaos Coven. I don't know, whatever you want to call the Witch Bitches. They fired off this 3 beam in 1 thing to finish the combat, and as cringy as it was to watch live, it would probably be much cooler animated. Wait, do we want an animated Bell's House? Well, don't leave it up to me. Make a comment down below. Let me know what I might have missed or what your thoughts were. And also, if you wouldn't mind making a mage hand out of the like button and hitting subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Feel free to check out the other channel, and yeah, I guess I will see you next time. Peace.